Hello fellow crafters, thank you for coming back to me, and I hope you've all had a lovely, peaceful and happy Easter. I know I did. So I hope you all enjoyed yourself doing Easter egg hunts and whatever you do with your own family. Today we're going to make what's called a bag of frogs. It's a great game for kids of all ages. They love it. This is the instructions of how to play the game. Very simple. All you do is you make 4 or 6 lily pads, which I'm going to show you how to make. 4 or 6 frogs, however you want really. And the aim of the game is to get the frog on the lily pad. And the kids can play this wherever they want, as I say, up the stairs, in the garden, in the lounge. And the idea is to place the lily pads at certain intervals, and they have to throw the frog onto the lily pad. If they get the frog on the lily pad, they get 1 point. This I'm going to show you how to make as well, and this is the bag for your bag of frogs. You can embellish this however you want, but it just keeps everything in nice and tidy, and the kids can hang it up. So, shall we get on and make this bag of frogs then? I can assure you all the children will like this, even the adults. We've got a kiddie inside them. So let's get on. Let me know what you think. Right, so what you'll need is 2 paper patterns. This is on cardboard. That's for the frog. That's for the lily pad. The easiest way to make this pattern is to get a piece of A4 paper, fold it in half, draw around it and cut it. That way you get everything the same each side, and then I just print it out, or draw it out rather, on cardboard. Same with the lily pad, although not as important with the lily pad. It's a leaf. There's no leaf that is absolutely perfect. The other things you'll need is something for the bag, some material for making the frogs, some felt, some stuffing for stuffing the frog, the cheapest rice that you can buy, pins and needles, thread, assortment of scissors, pencil obviously for drawing these, and something to push out the material once you've sewn all the way around. The first thing I'm going to do is draw around the lily pad pattern. So simply using a biro or a pen. If you did this in pattern in paper, obviously you could pin it. So it's entirely up to you how you do it. I just find this way a little bit easier. Once you've drawn around it, cut all the way around. You can cut 2 pieces if you want to make it thicker. You can cut 1 out of felt and 1 out of material if you want, or even put a little bit of backing on that will stop it sliding. That's entirely up to you. For this particular exercise, I think at the moment anyway, I'm just going to do it 1 level. So now we're going to cut around the frog pattern. You need to cut 2 of these. So just lay it on your material, doubled over. Obviously the amount of material you'll need will depend on how big your frog is. But as you can see, this is just an off piece of something I've done before. Again, using your pen, this is going to be the inside. So you're not going to see this pen mark anyway. So all the way around as accurately as you can. This is why I use cardboard rather than pin it, because it does have to be quite accurate actually. So all the way around his head, his little arms. Gently take him off. Oh, just fill in where I've missed there, look. Get your pins and just carefully, before it moves, just stick your pins in there like this. And then he's ready to cut out, and we are going to sew around him. So let's cut him out first and I'll come back to you. So once you've cut him out, carefully turn him over, because the inside here is going to be the outside of the frog. If you're making this for a very young child, I would suggest that you use felt eyes, very simple, just to cut out some felt eyes and sew them on with the machine, or very sturdily by hand. Obviously, if you're lucky enough to have a machine that embroiders, you can embroider it. I'm actually going to make this for a child that's older. She's school age, so I'm going to use googly eyes, so I won't need those, but as I say, be conscious of that. I'm also, because this particular one is going to be a plain colour, I want to liven him up a bit. So I'm going to give him a little bit of red or another colour along his tummy. So everything that you want to show on the outside of this frog must be done now before you sew the two parts together. Once it's on, then obviously we put the two parts back together and we sew him. So I'm going to carry on with that and just see how I get on, and then I'll come back to you. So now I've sewn all the way around the edge. I've started here and I've left a gap there and here so that we can pull him through. Okay, and that is probably the best place to do it. You can do it on the side, but that's probably the best place to do it. Before I'm going to turn him inside out, I'm just going to clip, but very, very gingerly. Don't go up to the stitching. You just need to give that material a little bit of leeway when you're pushing the material out. So it's really just on the curves, but as I say, you only need to do a very little bit. So I'm just going to go around here just a little bit like this. Okay, maybe on his heels, which is not so important because that's a bit bigger actually, but maybe just in there where it just goes into the curve there might be a good idea. Okay, and I've changed, as you can see, you're not colourblind, I've actually changed it to yellow. I had more yellow than red, and that's what crafting is all about. You use what you've got. So I'm going to turn him out now and see what he looks like and come back to you. So now what I've done, I've turned him inside out so that he's the right way round now. I've pressed him flat because now we're going to sew all the way around, obviously leaving this gap because this is where we have to stuff him. I've also done a very quick running stitch just along this edge. You'll see it's worth doing because when you sew it on the machine, it's so much easier to put the two together, and that's where we need to close the gap. I always do a double sew if ever I can on anything I make for children because they do need to be very safe. This is going to be filled with rice, but it's going to be thrown all over the place. So, well, that's if they're having fun, because that's what kids do, isn't it? So, and that's the idea of him. So we need to make sure that we stitch very carefully all the way around until we get to there. So I'm going to do that now, and then, as I say, again, come back to you. So what I've done now is I've got a small piece, and it is a small piece, you can see, and I've pushed it up into his hands here, in both hands and both feet. You don't have to do this because you are going to fill in with rice. I just think it gives it a little bit more detailed so that he's got a hand and he's got a little toe. So I've pushed that into there like that, and now I'm just going to, just keeping that in with a pin, and I'm just going to again go around this piece here, just so that he's got a little toe. Doesn't have to be particularly accurate, it just gives him a little bit more shape, that's all. There we are, as easy as that. Once you've done that, I tend to tie the edges together and sew them, push them through with a needle so that they don't show and not going to be pulled. And then once we've done that, we can put the rice in. So we've almost finished our little frog. He's all sewn all the way around. He's got little hands and he's got little toes. This is ideal. It's obviously one of these bigger cotton reels that you can pick up sometimes in the market. And it's ideal for filling things. So poor little frog, look, makes your eyes water really. Pop it in there. You've got a tray, rice, and just use the spoon and let it go down. Take your time with this or else it will go everywhere. You don't need loads of rice, you really don't, but you do need enough to give it some weight, and to sort of keep shaking it down into his hands, into his feet in a minute. So it's gone into his head, as you can see. Now I'm shushing bits of it down into his hands, and you just carry on in the way I'm doing this, filling him. If you haven't got one of these, you can use a bit of rolled up, not too thick cardboard or something like that. You'll sort of just make a cone, or if you're careful, obviously, just use the spoon. Now I'm going to use a bit more rice, so I'm going to tip some more into my bowl and get ready for the next bit. Just carefully shake him down like that, and you'll feel the weight of him, and quite simple to do. So I'm going to carry on with that, and then we're nearly there. We've nearly finished him. So now he's got plenty of rice in him. What I've done is in the legs, I pushed it down and I've put a big pin just to hold some of the rice back. And I've done a similar thing there because I don't want the rice to come near this piece here, because it could snap my needle or whatever. So, and I need to make it secure. So now I'm going to sew all the way around there. And what I might do is I might over sew it, because I want to make sure it's very, very strong. This is fiddly, I tell you, because you have to get it underneath the foot, but once you've got it under there, look, then you're okay. Do a secure stitch, and then carefully as you can, as near the edge as you can as well, just keep it nice and straight. You'll know if you pick up a bit of rice because it sounds, and just go all the way to the edge like that, and double sew it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to over sew it. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to leave that on because I'm going to sew that through later so that it's right out of the way. And I'm going to start again exactly the same as I did just now. And I'm going to over sew with a long zigzag, just to make sure everything is lovely and secure. You can't be too careful with children, so just make sure everything is lovely and secure. There we are. That's that done. So now I'm going to tidy up my edges. That's fine anyway, it's just a little over sewed stitch. Once I've tidied up the edges, you'll see that it'll be a nice little frog to throw. So here he is, all finished. I know he looks a bit strange, but when you've got a few of them together, they are quite good fun. And the kids do have a lovely time playing with them. Honestly, my grandchildren range now from 10 to 17, and they all mess about with these frogs. So he's all done. His eyes are on and everything. You can make him as ornate as you want. I've done him with spots and all sorts of things on. I've embroidered around the edges on some of them. And I've got to make another 4, I think, of this. I may do 6, but I think I'm going to do 4 for the actual game. And you'll see what they look like when they're all together. And now we're going to start on the lily pad. And we'll start that very shortly. I'll come back. So we're going to start our lily pad now. Before we do that, I weighed the frog on the scales just to see how much rice was in it, to give you a better idea. And it was a roughly 260 grams. So you'll get 4 or more. No, not very good on grams. But anyway, you'll get quite a few out of a bag of rice. So about roughly 250, 260 grams. So now we're going to do the lily pad. What I do is this here, the V, like the heart bit, is where we start there, our veins. And all I'm going to do is put a couple of pins in just to give me a little bit of reference to where I want the veins to be. And you'll see what I mean when we start sewing. You can do this by hand and it looks quite pretty as well. I'm going to do it on the sewing machine. You can also do it on an embroidery stitch if you want to. It's up to you. I'm going to do it on a plain one, and I'm going to use a lighter green cotton to do it. And then I'll start it off, and then I'll come back and show you when it's finished. So we always start here. Just give it a double stitch like this, and then off we go. And you can make it whirly, you can make it straight, however you want it really. Nip your pin out, do it again, there we are. So there's your first one. And then I'll start again, and I'll come up here, and I'll come up there, and I'll come up there, and I'll come back and show you when it's finished. So this is my box of old flowers that I keep. Some are rubbish, but I keep them anyway. And this is what I use when I'm needing a flower to put on anything. Now, you don't have to do this. You can have this lily pad exactly as it is. You can see I've done the veins now. Put as many veins in as you like. You could embroider around the edge. If you're going to line this, or you're making it out of 2 pieces of material, then what you would do is exactly the same. Sew all the way around, leaving a space to turn it out. Press it exactly the same way as we did for the frog, and sew all the way around the edge. But remember, you know, we put the embellishment on the frog before we sewed it together. That's exactly what you'll have to do for the leaf. So you do all of this, and then you join the 2 pieces of material together. You may not want to use felt, you see, you may want to use another material. This is my box of tricks, and it's all my little flowers. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this little lily pad look a bit prettier. And by doing that, you can see straight away it comes up lovely. This is an old sunflower that's been pulled to bits at some stage. You know, maybe I could use that like that. But I think what I'll do, I'm just going to use these. Now, these are a must. If you go to any little cheapy shop or a pound shop, you'll see these all like this on a string that goes around your neck. And I'll tell you where you find them, where all the hen night stuff is, and they're on a strand, and they wear them round their neck. I think they're called hula flowers or something, and you get loads of different flowers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do that. I'm going to do 2 of those, and I'm going to do 1 of those, and I'm just going to sew them on now. So there we are, there's the flowers sewn on. I've literally just sewn those 2 under there, that on the top, and I've cut a little circle of felt and just did a zigzag stitch to hold it together. But it just brightens it up a bit, and you don't have to do that, but you can embellish them really however you want to, make it your own. So that's the frog that we've made today, and these are a couple from my bag underneath the stairs where I keep the kids' stuff, and you can see they've been very well played with, but you know, they're great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make the bag to keep them in. Again, you don't have to do this, but it just keeps them all in a bag and ready to go when the kids come round. I keep a lot of toys underneath the stairs. Maybe you do the same, I don't know. But if not, they can hang them up in their bedroom, and they've got a bag of frogs. So I'll just show you how to do that now. So now I've cut the material for the bag, and that is 80 centimetres length, 27 centimetres wide, and 2 times 40 centimetre length for the strap. The strap, I've just used a simple binding. That's all you'll need. It's plenty strong enough, and I've used a different colour. Now, typical me, I've already cut my material out here because I thought it was nice and bright, and I've got thousands of coloured cottons, and I can't find one that matches this. So this is a lesson learnt. I'm going to use, rather than waste the material, I'm going to use a completely different colour cotton and make it look like a feature, so it looks like it was meant to be. So that's a good idea as well. Got a tip for you actually. When you get little bags as gifts and things, like this one was given to me, I always keep my bags because I reuse them, but sometimes they get messed up. Don't ever throw these pieces away. Keep them always, because they would make great handles for any little bags that you're making. So that's a tip for you, and just stick them in a box, and I'm sure that you'll be able to use them. So the first thing I'm going to do is press this, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, so I've pressed it. I've folded it in half and I've turned over a 1 and then a 2 centimetre edge for the top of the bag. I've then measured it. I've marked halfway, which is 13 centimetres, and then I've marked 6 centimetres roughly from the middle and 6 centimetres this side from the middle, and this is for the handles. So I'm going to just pop that in there. I think what I'm going to do also is I'm going to just mark the bottom of these handles just to make sure that they're the same, so that they're going in the same place. So let's have a go at this. Sorry, one there. It's better. One there. And then just slide them in the middle there, up to there. Okay? And just pin them in. Pin them in like that. Take that one out. Pin this one in like this, exactly the same, into the middle, and pin him. Then we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to make a nice stitch along there and then turn the handles up. So I'll do that now and then I'll come back to you. So I've sewn, excuse me, I've sewn all the way along there, the edge. Now I've turned up the handles like this and pinning them on both sides, and now I'm just going to sew them along there to give them a double stitch so that they're extra strong. So we're just going to do that now. So there we are, there's your bag. That's the inside, that's the outside. I'm going to do the seam, an extra strong seam. I'm going to show you how to do a French seam. You may know how to do this anyway, but I'll just show you how to do it. It's very simple, but it makes it very, very strong. Also, at this stage, if you want to embellish it all, it's much, much easier to do it now. You know, you could put a frog on it, you could put bag of frogs on it, you could put a child's name on it, anything that you want to put on it, do. But this is such a simple bag to make, so I wanted just to show you how to make the plain bag, and you can embellish it how you will. So to do a French seam, the first thing you do is sew it on the right side. So you just pin the sides together all the way down the side, and you just stitch maybe half a centimetre in on both sides. Then we'll come back and do the next piece. So once you've sewn all the way down the two seams, you need to just very carefully cut close to the stitching line, but obviously not too close. You need to, there needs to be some strength there. So all the way down here, just, you can see, just that much probably, down, all the way down to the bottom. Once you've done that on both sides, you need to press it. You need to turn the bag the inside out, and then what we're going to do, we're going to seam it again. So, but it has to be well pressed, because if you don't well press it, it's quite difficult. But so if you can see what I mean, you just have to do it like this, and then this will become the inside seam. So I'll show you that. So I'm just finished now pinning up the side, and this is literally all you do. If you press it, it's so much easier, and then just press it out with your fingers and just all the way up the sides. Then you're going to machine it exactly the same as you did before. There we are, exactly the same. Double stitch all the way up to the end here. And you'll see when this is done how strong it makes the bag. Sorry for the noise. I'm afraid I don't have a very up-to-date machine, but this one suits me just fine. There we are. So I'll just show you the one to one side. So that now is the inside of the bag, so that when you turn it through, you've got a lovely seam there, but you can see how much stronger that seam's going to be. So I'm just going to run up the other side now. So there you have it. There's your finished bag. As I say, it will look nice if you put some little extra embellishments on it, but this is just a simple way to show you how to make the bag, and you must admit it is a very simple way to make it. So there's your bag, there's your lily pad, and there's your frog. You need to make 4, or you can make 6 lily pads, 4 or 6 frogs. And the object of the game is basically to put the lily pad either going down the stairs, and they throw the frog and they get a point for each one they get on, or lay them on the floor and again they throw the frog and they get a point for each one. But believe me, I speak from experience, they will sort out their own game with this, and everybody can play it. It's fun to play in the garden, in the sunshine. It's fun to play in the lounge, on the floor when it's raining. So have fun with it, and let me know what you think of it. And yeah, just subscribe if you like it. Bye bye for now, until the next time.